Hello everyone and welcome to How To with Sister Anita. In today's video, we're going to learn how to stream for an online translated center. In this particular case, we'll be working on a center for the healing streams in a particular language in your country. So let's get started. The first thing is we're going to list out what you need, and then you can get those things, gather them and make sure they are in place. First thing you need are headphones, a microphone. You can use a microphone on your laptop or you can get in a USB microphone. You need your translator for the assigned language. You need a laptop with good RAM and performance. You will also need these applications, the OBS Studio, which is free, and the link is in the description below. You also need BibleShow. However, this step is optional to having BibleShow, but it would be better to download it to having a more seamless stream. You can display the verses in the language that is being preached in. So it's also a good way to engage the viewers. You also need to download the multi-RTMP output plugin for OBS, which will allow you to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. And you also need the OBS NDI plugin, which is listed in the description below. So make sure to download all these things before proceeding with the video, and make sure to have all this equipment in place so that your streaming can be very effective. So the first step we are going to do is we're going to open OBS on our systems. So as I said, the OBS download link is in the description, so please download it and download the latest version, or download the version that is most compatible with your system, because OBS does use a lot of CPU usage, so make sure that your laptop will not be overloaded in any way. So firstly, we're going to open up OBS, and right here, I'm here in OBS on a clean slate. Just the basic things are open. This is how your OBS page will normally look like. So when you have this page open, and you're new to it, or if you're not new to it and you perhaps have another scene collection open at the moment, please come to scene collection, click new, and just write new scene, or you can be specific and call it online translation scene. Please do the following, and then we are going to now start adding the link of the stream that we want to translate. So we are going to add a browser to this scene that is open here, right? This scene that is open here. We're going to add the browser. So when you come here to OBS, the plus sign, you click on browser, right? And you say healing streams live. Okay, so now we are going to get the URL for where are we receiving the feed from. Whether you're receiving it directly from LevelSat, you're receiving it from Level XP, you may even be receiving it from YouTube or another external channel. You can post the link in this place. So we're just going to do that quickly. So paste your link there. And after pasting your link, do not just click OK yet. We need to do some editing to the properties of the browser. So you're going to change the width to 1280, and you're going to change the height to 720. Now what this does is position the browser into to HD mode. This is just standard HD, right? So this is the best thing to put it in. Or if maybe you see that your CPU usage is moving a bit higher, you can always put it at 960 and 540, which is pretty standard as well, though that's a lower resolution, but it works well too. So we'll just use this as just the basic for everyone. Then click on Control Audio via OBS so that the sound can be streamed into OBS. So when you stream it on the online platform, people can hear it from there. Good. Now the next thing, we come to custom CSS, and we see overflow is hidden. The reason we're going to remove this, and the reason we're removing it, is so you'll be able to scroll the page as if you were using a normal browser on Google Chrome, Firefox, or Brave. So you need to have that ability to scroll. Unless your browser is just going to be stiff, you won't be able to move the browser. Okay. So we'll click OK. As we click OK, we see that it is loaded here. Now, when it's loaded here, we can see that the screen is a bit small, and that is because of the resolution we set it to is smaller than the base canvas of the OBS setup. So in this case, not to worry, you're going to either pull out the browser and expand it to the full extent of the base, or if maybe that's, a bit tedious, you can just use Control F and to automatically do that for you. Okay. So the next step we're going to do is interact with the browser. So our browser here, it opened but on a small frame. So now you will need to put it on full screen and make sure that the sound is on so that you can see it in Audio Mixer, that the sound is moving and active, which is really important. Now another thing to note is that when you open YouTube, it may ask you to log in as it's trying to verify that you're not a bot. So please make sure to log in with an account just for the sake of accessing the YouTube. But if you are using another stream, as I said, you're using a LevelSat or Level XP, such will not be needed. You can just go directly into stream, or if you're even using Cflix, you can directly take the stream directly from Cflix and put it in OBS. So this is just one of the ways that you can do it. We're going to put this on full screen. Okay, so my sound is moving through. Okay, the program is on live, the sound is moving through. However, the only sound that would be heard here is the sound of the program fully in English. So that means the people who I'm inviting that maybe speak Lingala that want to listen to the Lingala translation, they won't be able to hear that. So this is the part where we bring in the setup of the microphone for the translator. So we come to OBS sources, come to the plus sign, click on audio inputs because you're going to be inputting your voice, and you're going to call it translator mic, or you can simply call it mic, but it's always good to be descriptive. It helps you, navigate things easier. So when you come here, you're going to click on your selected microphone. Now, I did say you can use a microphone from your laptop, or you can use a USB microphone, which you can plug into your computer. But in this case, I'm only going to be talking about using the microphone from your laptop, as that would be the standard that everyone would have. So you're going to come and pick your laptop microphone. You should know what it is. In my case, it is Intel. So I'm going to pick my Intel mic and click OK. Okay, wonderful. So we can clearly see here that this is my microphone and it is moving. We can see that, as I'm talking, the live stream is also releasing sound. So in that case, people can, let me skip that ad. In that case, people can hear both me and the live stream. However, the issue now is to remove the imbalance in the sound. What do I mean by that? When you're streaming in another language, you want the language that's being translated to be the predominantly heard language. You want it to be that the English is not much louder than the Lingala, because then the Lingala speakers will have a hard time hearing what is being translated to them. So we're gonna reduce this in our case, and we're gonna come to translator mic, filter, right click, add gain. When you add gain, you're going to increase it like this. Right click again, add noise suppression. So you make sure your mic does not release, background noise. If you're in a place that's a bit noisy, it would be inconvenient to be streaming a noisy background to the viewers. It can make them distracted and even click out. So make sure that you are in a quiet environment in the first place. But in the case that maybe you are not, please put on a noise suppression to reduce those noises. And the standard noise suppression is this. Actually, this is the best one, but it uses a lot of CPU usage, and if your computer doesn't have the capacity, please just click this one and then you can adjust it according to your needs. Okay, so as you can see now, my vocal decibels has increased, meaning that my voice is now louder. So the next thing that we are going to do, which I said is an optional thing to do, is add scriptures in the translated language. So open up your BibleShow application. Now, in the case that you haven't downloaded it, please go to the download link and install BibleShow. However, I did say this option is optional because it is simply adding a layer, a lower third layer to display the Bible verse in the language that is being translated in. So I find this a good option to really engage people to participate very well, because the verses are being translated according to the language that's being spoken. So it's mostly translated in English the whole time. So if you're translating in another language, it's also good to translate the scripture in that same language. Okay, so we have our BibleShow open here fully. We're going to go to options, right? And you can select a theme here, or you can configure your own theme. Now, in the configuration of our own theme, we are going to use the lower third that is much similar to that one which is used in Love Mode. So lower third here, and I'm going to make this also available on the link description so you can download it from there. I'm going to click on this, add this as our background, and then I'm going to remove any effects, blur, sketch, big name, and transparency, put all that at 0. And then the next thing we're going to do is adjust the layout. Okay, so next you go to layout, and then you're going to untick symmetrical, and then you are going to make sure that the text will be displayed within this lower third frame. It will not go above it, because if it's in symmetrical, it goes above. So you need to edit it according to our lower third. Okay, so you are going to edit the reference. The reference is usually displayed at the top right corner, and then you have the verse, which is displayed at the bottom. So with that, you are going to adjust the horizontal position. You do the needful, you will see how it looks best. And then the width, right? So make sure it is wide enough. You can adjust the height, and you can adjust also the reference position. Yes, so do it like that and it's fine. Then we're going to go to the text, which you put. I have this Grotesque Text Pro, which is really good font, but if you don't have this on your system, you can just use Arial Nova or just the standard Arial. or just use the font that the standard Arial is here, which is the first one. So I'll just do that for example. Then change the weight to black. Okay, that's the boldest version of the font. Also, make the words of Christ the same, because normally the words of Christ they use italics for this. So change it to also bold. And style, you can make it italics as well, just to show the difference. Alignment, put it on the center, and vertically put it in the middle. Okay, so make sure to have those settings in place. It will be very important. And then the next thing you're going to do is download our Bible that we want to select. So we're going to come here to Bibles. When you come to Bibles, you'll be able to see a vast amount of different versions in different languages. So for example, we are in Congo and we are going to be ministering this program in Lingala. So I'm going to just come and look for Lingala. Okay, so I have it. It's called the Mukanda na Bumoy Bible. Okay, so when I want to display my Bible, I'm going to come here to reference. Now I know I'm moving a bit fast, but kindly you can slow down the video to follow it better. I don't want to elongate the video beyond the time. You come here and you click on MNB. Okay, so this is going to be our Bible in Lingala, right? So you can, sorry, you can use this to display the verses. So you can use this to display the verses. Now, when Pastor calls for a verse, let's say he says 2 Samuel or 1 Samuel chapter 27, verse 8, you go directly there. But now it's how to put these verses inside the OBS as well. So as I said, you need the OBS NDI tool, so I hope you did install that. So come back to your main page, the OBS page, click on the plus sign, click on NDI source, and then call this Bible. Once you call it Bible, you're going to come to source and you're going to click BibleShow NDI. Wow, fantastic. So it displays right at the bottom. So anytime you are displaying the verse, is going to display at the same time. Now, if you feel like your laptop became a bit slower when you're using this, you can adjust the frame rate, because the lower the frame rate, the lower the CPU usage, but the higher the frame rate, the higher the CPU usage. So you can bring that down to literally just that, right? So your laptop will mostly move better now that you've changed the frame rate, but you won't really see that smooth changing of the verse. So the smoothness comes with increased frame rate. So if your laptop is stable and able to do that, please do so. Now, to close the verse, you can write hide, and it will remove it from there, right? So that is good. Now we are done with this aspect of adding the verses and setting up the mic and the browser. The next thing you need to do is to stream, which is the most important part of it all. So the first thing you're going to do now is time to stream. You're going to open settings, then you're going to click on stream, and you're going to paste your server and your stream key. Now, if you're using another platform such as the ones mentioned here, you simply just have to click and then log into the account of that platform you want to use, and you can select your stream from there. However, in this case, we're using a custom server, so we're going to be streaming to this. Then we're going to come to outputs, and you are going to change your video bitrate to 500. Now, the reason I changed it to 500, sometimes I even use 300, is dependent on your internet speed and dependent on also how many platforms you want to stream to at the same time. If it's just one platform, 500 is stable if your internet isn't the best. Well, if you have better internet, stronger internet, you can use 1000, even 1000 kbps, and that's fine. But in this case, I'm just going to show with 500. And if you see your network is not stable, please, you can reduce it least 300. Please don't put it at 100 or people are going to be seeing blocks as your screen. Okay, thank you. So you're going to click OK. I don't know why there's so many ads. Then as the program is streaming, let me fast forward. Then as the program is streaming, we are going to click start streaming. So when we start streaming, it's going to collect all the feed from here. The microphone, the browser, the Bible is going to collect all that feed. And you can see it's written stop streaming, meaning it's already started. And you can see the count of the bitrate over here. So now after you started streaming, you need to confirm that your stream is showing at your back end and that the sound levels are just right. You don't want the sound to be, inconveniencing to the viewers such that the English is much stronger than the translated language, or the translated language is too loud that people can't hear pastor ministry. People like to hear at least the voice and then the translation. They don't want to just be completely, you wipe out all the voice and then you just put your voice as a translator. No. It shouldn't be like that. So right now I'm going to check my back end. So you do the same and verify that it's working. Once we're done, that's it. Okay, so now I'm checking my sound and I'm seeing that the translated sound is pretty low. So I'm going to come back to filters and I'm going to increase my gain to a higher level. Instead of reducing the sound of the feed I'm getting, I'm going to increase my sound so that we can still hear what is being said, but I am much louder above. Okay, so you find what's best for you, and that would be great. Okay, so that's all for today's video. It's that simple. If you have any questions or queries, please send a message to the Kingschat ID that is posted below in the chat. And that is pretty much all for today.